Welcome to class. I'm Kat. I'm going to be doing class today. Today is going to be a little bit of warm-up cuts and our regular warm-ups, and then we're going to go through a yoga routine, and I'll talk to everybody a little bit more about that in a minute. So to start, let's do our warm-ups. If you don't know them, you just follow along the best that you can. Make sure you have some space. And, oh, got somebody joining the call, sorry. Okay, let's get started. I might have to pause to let people in. All right, warm-ups, arm circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Going around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Arm bends to your left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then touch your toes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bend the other way. 5, 6, 7, 8. Forward. 2, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to go all the way around, starting down at bent over. And 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to do our arm swings. And 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, I think we felt my back crack on that one. Yes. And jumping jacks. Und 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And do our sumo squat. Have your heels fist width apart and sink. 1, 2, 3, 4. And up and bend. 5, 6, 7, 8. And down. 2, 2, 3, 4. And bend. 5, 6, 7, 8. Turn your left toes out to your left. And bend and touch your toes if you can, or touch the leg. 1, 2, 3, 4. Switch to the right foot. 5, 6, 7, 8. Switch to the left. 2, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we're going to take a deep lunge to our right. Make sure your knee does not go out past your toe. Keep it in line. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Switch sides. 5, 6, 7, 8. Gonna lift up the heel on the opposite foot. Get low. 2, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. Bring your feet in together. We're gonna rotate our knees around counterclockwise. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 2, 3, 4. Change direction. 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we're going to turn to our right. We're stretching out our left leg down the hamstring and the calf. And at the same time, we're going to be stretching our left wrist. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stretch the other way. 5, 6, 7, 8. Turn and stretch the right leg. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. Great, shake it out. We're going to pick up a sword-like object, and we're going to do some warm-up cuts. Okay, I'm going to scoot, make sure I have enough space. Okay, first we're going to do Shuttle-How to the skull. Und 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Cut to the long point. Und 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Cut all the way down to Albert. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then either from the high vom tug or the shoulder vom tug, up to you, we're going to cut right Oberhau. And I'm actually going to back up a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Switch your feet. Left Oberhau. Oh, let me let someone in the call first, and then left Oberhau. Okay, left Oberhau from either the high vom tug or the shoulder vom tug. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Staying for our left Oberhau, we're going to do left Oberhau, transition, right Unterhau. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, trying not to hit stuff. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Switch your feet. We're now going to do right Oberhau, transition, left Unterhau. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now into the Mittelhut on the left. I'm going to go very carefully because of my space, so make sure you have enough space to cut from left to right, transition, right to left. Ready? Und 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, We're going to switch and start from the right and go to the left. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bye-bye, bathrobe. Beginning in the right ox, we're going to cut a right overhau with a step if you have space. If not, just start with your right foot forward. I have a little bit of space, so I'm going to go ahead and take a step. Und 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, und 10. Beginning in the right neighborhood, going to cut right overhau with a step if you have space. If not, just have the right foot forward. Und 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, beginning in the left ox now, same thing. We're going to take a step and cut left overhau. If you don't have room to take a step, then you keep your left foot forward. I'm going to stick with that variation for this time around. Und 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Switching to the left neighborhood, we're going to cut left overhau, either with a step if you have space, or if not, keep the left foot forward. I'm going to keep the left foot forward for this time around. Und 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to cut our usual warm-ups a little bit short because I want to make sure I leave enough room for some yoga. But we're going to finish with a thrust from the long point to the throat and take a little gathering step if you have space to do so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, und 10. Good. Everyone shake it out. Grab a little water. I'm going to grab a little bit of water, and then I'm going to, as Tristan would say, I'm going to talk at you for a minute. So today I really wanted to focus on grounded footwork. Where this is coming from is pretty early on when I started doing HEMA. It's a very personally funny story. So I had the pleasure of partaking in a very informal in-house tournament. I was a noob. I had no gear, so I ended up using the Gekken longswords rather than steel because I didn't even have steel yet. And I remember coming up against my opponent, and a very well-timed thrust knocked me onto my ass. And I'm not saying like that I took a knee. I'm not saying I stumbled. I'm saying I was knocked backwards and landed on my bum. So that was very eye-opening, an eye-opening experience. And something that I have then worked on a lot is trying to remain grounded, to not be so unsteady on my feet and unbalanced, but also as a smaller fencer, I need to be stuck to the ground, because if someone is trying to bowl me over, I need to be able to get low and stand my ground and maybe throw them over because they're bigger than me and more top heavy. And I started to make this connection a few years ago in talking to a few of my teachers about staying grounded and what that feels like. And I made that connection to certain concepts in yoga for staying grounded. And so then as I started practicing in yoga, like bringing it into my yoga practice, started thinking about, oh, if I was fencing right now, what would this feel like? And then when I was fencing, thinking about like, oh, if I'm doing this during yoga, what does that feel like? So I'm hoping to bring some of those concepts from yoga into fencing, because I often take in both directions. I take some of my fencing into yoga and my yoga into fencing. And so I'm hoping that you guys find this useful as well. So we're going to do some really, really basic things. Nothing, so it's perfect if you're a beginner, you haven't really done much yoga before, or if it's just like me, it's been a really hard week. So we can take some time to just relax and unwind, and also just to talk about being more grounded, not only for smaller fencers to being stuck to the ground, but also taller fencers. Like I have several people in my circle who are quite tall, and it's, you know, the same kind of problem, but a different perspective on that problem. They also need to be stuck to the ground because someone small like me can, you know, knock them over if they're not careful. So it goes in both directions. We all need to be more grounded. So let me grab another sip of water, and then we'll get started. So I'm going to use a yoga mat. If you don't have one, that's okay. I would recommend when we move to the stuff on the floor that if you don't have a rug or something, like if you have a hardwood floor, like I have hardwood floors, I would say when we go to laying on the ground to get some kind of blanket or something to pad you, because that can be really rough. But you don't really need a mat for any of the things we're going to do. I find just be more comfortable. If you have one, awesome. If you don't, no big deal. So we're just going to orient ourselves. I'm going to put my feet kind of a natural hip width apart. I'm not going to try and like zip up into a proper mountain pose. I'm going to kind of let it be a little bit more loose and relaxed, kind of have a slight friendly bend in my knees. And we're going to take a deep breath in, hands up in the air. Just bring them down at your sides. And up. Now I'm going to bring them to my heart in the prayer position, and take a second, close your eyes. We're going to do like a survey, an inventory, take stock of where we're at right now, because we're going to do this again at the end. And I find it really helpful at the beginning and end of each practice to just kind of figure out how I'm feeling, where I'm at. I know for me personally, it's been a tough work week. Maybe I'm not feeling so great, but now it's time to take all that and leave it behind. We're going to do some good work today. So right now I'm concentrating on feeling my feet on the ground and feeling all of the parts of my feet touching the ground. I do still have that slight micro bend in the knee. I'm trying not to lock up my knees. I'm trying to keep a good straight but not forced posture. So the tailbone is drawing down. Here, I'm going to turn to the side so you can kind of see what's going on here. So my heart is meeting my hands, tailbone draws down, slight bend in the knee. So think about how you're feeling, where you're at. We're going to revisit that. Okay, so take a deep inhale. We're going to keep our hands up in the air. We're going to reach for the sky, reach for the sky. So our palms are facing each other. You're going to pretend like you're holding a giant beach ball above your head. So your hands aren't touching yet. They're just kind of in a natural position. Feel that beach ball. have really active fingers, stretching out your fingers. Feel all of your fingertips. Take another deep breath in. And exhale your hand heart. Deep breath in. Hands up. Holding my beach ball. I'm pulling my shoulder blades down. I'm leaving space between my shoulders and my ears. I'm not getting up. I'm giving plenty of space to hold the beach ball. Another inhale. Back hands at your heart. Excellent. We're going to do that one more time, and I'm not going to talk. We're going to just breathe. And back to your heart. Awesome sauce. Okay, now we're going to transition to doing some balancing poses. Now we feel our feet connecting to the ground, and now we're going to do a little test of that. I'm going to do a tree pose. Don't be alarmed if you haven't done that before. We're going to set up. So what I like to think about is, instead of just like, oh, I'm going to get in there, I like to set it up. I've learned this from doing yoga with my yoga teacher online. It helps to kind of do it the wrong way first, and then we can work on the right way. So we're going to be picking the left foot up off the ground first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it the wrong way. I'm going to collapse into my right hip. I'm just going to go like I'm waiting for the bus. So everybody just give that a try. So like you're standing nicely, you can feel the ground beneath you, and then I'm just going to collapse into my right hip. Okay. So instead of doing that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to push downward through my right leg. I'm going to feel the ground and just kind of very slowly transition my weight to my right foot and have my left toe just kind of gently touching the ground. You can even like just bounce it a little bit, just bounce tap, so that you have a chance to really feel your left foot connecting with the ground. And now I'm going to gently lift it up, and I'm going to reach and catch it with my hands. So now we're all catching our left shin with our hands. And it's okay if you feel a little bit wobbly, if you feel yourself wobble. If you fall down, it's okay. Just come on back. I'm going to now transition to getting into the tree. So I'm grabbing my left ankle with my right hand, kind of gently swimming my left hand along my leg, and I'm going to pull it out to the side gently. And there are a couple of ways you can do it. You can either get it all the way up onto the upper part of the thigh, you can put it onto the calf, or you can just put your toe on the ground. Don't put it directly on the knee. If you put it on the knee, you're going to really put a lot of strain in that joint. So it doesn't matter wherever you're at. You can have toe on the ground, foot on the calf below the knee, or foot on the thigh above the knee. So take your time, and once you get settled there, again, you're going to push down through the left leg and really feel all the parts of your left foot touching the ground. And eventually, when you feel comfortable, maybe put your right hand up at your heart, and you can keep your left hand on your foot. And if you get really comfortable, you can bring your left hand up to meet and stay in a prayer. Again, I'm trying to feel the ground underneath all the parts of my right foot. So I can feel it underneath that ball joint. I can feel it underneath my pinky toe. I can feel it underneath my heel. And if this gets to be a little too tough, yeah, just bring it down. Let's do 5 more seconds here. Wherever you're at, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And with control, we're going to, if you want to grab your knee and help to guide it down, gently release your foot down to the ground. And shake it out. Give it a little. All right, we're gonna start the same way to do the other side. We're gonna collapse into that left hip so you can kind of feel what the wrong way is and then correct it. So I'm going to start with my feet about a hip width apart. My weight is evenly distributed, and now I'm gonna just collapse into my left foot. I'm being super casual. I'm gonna do it one more time, and I'm collapsing, super casual. Now I'm gonna feel myself pushing down to the ground through my left foot and very gently peel up my right foot, kind of do baby taps on the floor with my right foot. And then when I'm ready, I'm going to bring my leg up and I'm gonna catch it with my hands. This side is my bad side, so it requires a little bit more practice. Moving my left hand down to grab my ankle, moving my right hand down the leg to place myself where I want to be. Again, either above the knee, below the knee, or with your toe on the ground. And you can stay here with your hands kind of helping to support you. You can bring one hand up. When you're ready, you can bring the other hand up. If you're feeling really feisty, you can bring the arms up in the air. If you're feeling extra feisty, you can close your eyes. I might not be feeling that feisty tonight, but. And if you bring your hands up, think about the same with the beach ball. And we're gonna hold it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I'm gonna bring my hands down. I'm gonna slowly, with control, kind of help guide my leg in and down. And I'm gonna give it a little shake it out. And give a little kick to my legs. Awesome. Okay. So the other balancing pose that I have is gonna be the royal dancer. I'm actually going to reorient my mat a little bit so I can use the lengthwise position, but still see you all. I have you up on another monitor so I can see those who have their camera on. And we're going to do the same kind of thing, except instead of bringing the leg up to the front, we're going to catch it in the back. So same thing, my feet are starting out hip width apart, grounding down, slight bend in the knee. We're never going to want to let our knee lock. So we want to have that flexibility, that flex. And I'm going to slowly start putting more of my weight and balance onto my right foot. And I'm going to pick up my left leg. I'm going to catch my foot with my left hand. And so I have my right hand here. I'm going to slowly start reaching forward with my right hand while I push back with my left foot. Now, if you only get to this far, that's okay. Go as far as you can go. So we're having like opposing forces while we're also balancing. So I'm putting all of the parts of my foot on the ground, and I'm feeling that pull in either direction. I'm push-pull. I'm pushing my right hand forward, and I'm pulling backwards and opposing forces. We're going to hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and very slowly, I'm going to bring it back. While I'm here, I'm going to stretch my my quad. So in this position, I'm going to do the quad stretch. I'm going to push my hips forward so I can feel the stretch to the front of my leg. And release. And I'm going to shake it out with my right foot. All right, to do the same on the other side, I'm going to start same as before with both my feet hip width apart with all of my weight in my feet. I can feel the mat. And now I'm going to slowly pull weight out of my right foot and putting it into my left foot, bringing my right foot up, and I'm going to catch it. Then same thing, I'm going to push my left hand forward and push my right foot back. Really feeling those opposing forces. Make sure if you feel any tenseness in your face, any tension in your face, to just relax your jaw. Don't clench your jaw, don't clench your face. And if you can't get up high, you just work it a little bit lower. All right, we're going to be here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slowly with control. And then I'm going to go ahead and stretch this right quad while I'm here. I'm going to drive the hips forward to feel the stretch through the front of that leg. And release. Shake it out. Let me turn my mat. Okay. Take a second to kind of kick the legs up. Do a little bit of a try to hit your butt with your heels. Okay, now we're going to play around with doing some things where only part of the foot is touching the ground, specifically the sides of the feet. So we're going to get into a wide-legged stance. You can either hop it wide or you can just step it wide. So my feet are nice and wide. I'm going to turn my toes slightly inward. Ooh, tongue twister, toes slightly inward. And as I'm standing here, I can already feel as I'm settling down, becoming grounded in my positioning, I can feel myself pushing into the sides of my feet. I feel it here and here. So lean into that. We're going to push into the sides of those feet. And we're going to enter a forward bend. We're going to do it with the hands on the hips. So with my hands on my hips, and I'm going to bend forward, hinging at the waist until I get to a flat back, as though I'm going to try and become a table. I'm going to balance my favorite beverage on top of the table. So ready? We're going to inhale and exhale. Going to come forward, bending, hinging at the waist until we get to a flat back. And try to balance the beverage. And we're going to hold it here. We're going to pull energy through the bottoms of our feet. So I feel myself pushing into the sides of my feet. You can also feel the core engage a little bit here because you're holding your position. We're going to hold it here to the count of 10, and then when I reach 10, we're going to bend all the way forward as far as we can go and let everything relax. So not yet, though. We're working right now. So I'm going to count backwards from 10, and then we'll release down. Ready? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release everything down. And just let it hang. I can still feel that connection with the sides of my feet to the mat. I can feel it pressing outward. If you want, you can cross your arms, put your head on your arms, and kind of sway side to side. This feels really nice if you have a lot of tightness or tension in your hamstrings. Swaying side to side is a nice way to stretch that area out. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that for a minute, and then we'll take a little minute to relax in this position. All right, I'm going to take a second, and I'm going to relax my head down. If you can't get to your hands on the floor, it's okay. You can have your hands on your thighs, your shins. You can grab your feet. There was something I once saw in a Rodney Yee video. You can grab your big toes, like wrap your index finger and your thumb around your big toes. Put yourself in a toe lock, if that feels good. I'm going to take 3 deep breaths here, and then we're going to come back up. Inhale and exhale. Inhale To come out of this, we're going to put our hands back on our hips. And you're going to really need to push into your feet. Try not to lock up your knees. We're going to push into our feet. We're going to slowly pull ourselves back up to that flat back position. And then all the way up. While we're here, we're going to do a nice, powerful star pose. So our feet are still wide. We're going to inhale our hands up and out until you're a big star. Take an inhale here. And hands down at your sides. Now we're going to, I'm going to heel toe in just a tiny bit so that my feet are still wide and my toes are now pointing out. And we're going to slowly and carefully sink into our yogi squat, or some people might call this the good Slav squat. You're going to keep your feet connected to the ground. So we're going to kind of slowly begin to squat down. There, I'm going to back up so you can see me a little bit better. So my feet are connecting with the ground. If you can't get to here and you're maybe working here, that's okay. You can totally work there. And you can put your hands at the heart and just kind of balance here for a moment on your toes. That is a good place to work. You can even get a little bit of wiggling action back and forth if you want to make this into a more ballistic stretch. You can get a little bit of stretching in the feet, especially if you wear a lot of shoes during the day. I know I'm barefoot all day because I'm at home, but if you are out and about and your feet need to stretch, it's a good way to stretch the feet. If everybody else can get down onto your feet. And I'm going to wedge my elbows into my sides and really try to open up the hips. It's funny because most of you disappeared now. So what I'm doing is I'm trying not to hunch over, not look like a gremlin. I'm trying to keep my spine up, trying to keep my space between my shoulders and my ears. And I'm just using my elbows to gently open up my hips. And that also helps me to get my feet onto the ground. We're going to stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to gently transition to sitting. I'm going to turn to my side so I can show you. So if we're here, I'm going to put my hands down behind me and just gently sit down. I'm going to give the folks who don't have a mat and who might be getting a blanket just a moment to get their blanket and get themselves oriented where they need to be. And while we kind of give everybody a moment to get settled, I'm just going to point and flex my feet. Kind of get some nice movement going, rotating the ankles, pointing and flexing the feet. Great. Now if everybody looks pretty settled, let's see. I'm going to scoot my bum forward so that my knees are up, and it's almost like my knees are 2 parallel slides. My legs are 2 parallel slides. So my knees, ankles, toes are in alignment. I'm going to put my hands behind my thighs and just kind of gently roll down. And then come to laying on my back. I'm going to walk my heels up so that knees are still up, my legs are still in parallel, not twisted in a weird way, but my heels are as close to my bum as I can get them. I'm going to wriggle my shoulder blades down so that as much of my spine is touching the ground as possible. So in this section, we're kind of moving past the physical, my feet connecting with the ground, and we're working on just everything connecting with the ground. And I know we're not going to be fencing laying down. I mean, maybe you are. I don't know you, maybe you are. But it's about feeling the connection to the earth or whatever surface is underneath you. And I find that to be helpful. And this is also helpful for posture because I'm trying to keep my spine in contact with the mat That's going to be a later edition of this is for posture, but for now we're working on feeling the ground. Okay. Now from this position, I'm going to pull my right knee up and just catch my shin with my hands. And my left leg, I'm going to just gently take the heel and push it out so that now I have my right leg up. I'm flexing my feet towards the sky, toes are pointing towards the sky. And I'm kind of feeling gravity pushing down on my left hip. So I'm keeping contact with the ground with my whole back. Making sure that the same way that we were keeping contact with the ground with our whole foot, I'm translating that to keeping contact with the ground my whole back. And I'm going to do some ankle circles here, going one way, going the other way, kind of finding gentle movement that feels good. I'm going to take my knee now, and we're going to go into a gentle twist. So I'm going to take my right knee, and I'm going to guide it over to my left side. So I'm kind of becoming propped up on my left hip. And place your foot on your leg, your right foot on your left leg. And then I'm going to take my right arm and extend it, hit the door, extend it out to my right. And I'm going to gently turn onto my right ear. If this doesn't feel good, you don't have to work here, or you can do a more gentle twist, so you don't have to turn your head, you don't have to extend the arm. If you just want to have the lower body in the twist, if that feels good, stick with it. I'm going to take the full twist and just kind of feel it twisting through the spine. Now, gently unravel. Turn my head back to center. I'm hugging my right knee in and releasing my right foot down to the ground. Let's bring that left foot in, and now we're back in the position we started in. Taking the left leg, bring the knee up towards my face, and I'm going to take the right foot, push the heel out. So now my right leg is straight, left knee is bent, and I'm feeling that gravity pushing down on my right hip so that my butt and my back are still connected with the floor. It's really easy here to kind of already rotate. I don't want to do that. I want to feel totally connected. I'm going to do the same thing with my ankle. I'm going to do some circles with the toes pointing and flexing one way and another, making these circles. Make sure that you're breathing deep and also relax your face. I have to remind myself of this constantly. When I do yoga practice, I have to remind myself to actively relax my face because I find that I get very clenched in the jaw. So definitely relax the face. Okay, we're going to do the twist to our right now. And gently guide that right knee over to my right, or left knee over to my right, excuse me, until I'm on my right hip. Extend my left arm out, and then I'm going to turn onto my left ear. It's okay if you're not getting your left shoulder touching the ground. That'll come in time. And definitely listen to your body. That's, I think, what I've found to be, for me, the number one rule of my yoga practice is to listen to my body. There are some days that I know I can do something, and then another day I might not be able to do that same thing. And that's okay, because we all have our different days, more flexible days, less flexible days. It's important to just listen, because maybe today you can get that full twist, or maybe today you're not rocking that, and that's okay. I'm going to gently unravel, come back to center. Bring both my knees back up. Now I'm going to bring both knees toward my face and give them a hug. Just give them a nice squeeze. I'm going to rock side to side. This is a good massage for the back too. Just rocking side to side. Come to a place of stillness. Okay, bonus ab work. So everybody take a deep inhale in. And as you exhale, bring your head up, bring your nose to touch your knees. Make sure you're still keeping that space between your shoulders and your ears. You're going to use your core to keep yourself up. We're going to stay here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release down. Bonus ab work. Okay, we're going to end with a little bit of corpse pose and some reflection. And then at the end, we'll give some time for comments, questions, concerns, announcements, all that good stuff. But for now, I'm going to send the left leg out, send the right leg out. Inhale your arms all the way over your head. We're going to do a big full body stretch. So push your feet, stretch your arms, stretch, stretch, stretch. Feel all the stretching. Deep inhale. And exhale, relax. Bring your arms at your sides. Let your feet relax. Actually, if you want to, special bonus move, you can actually take your hands, put them behind your head, and bring your thumbs down so they're touching your neck. So my head is in my hands, and my thumbs are giving my neck a little massage, kind of like I'm relaxing out on the beach, enjoying the sun. A little neck massage. You can relax here, you can relax with your hands at your sides, wherever floats your boat. While we relax here, we're still making sure that our back is in full contact with the ground. It might sound like a silly or a strange thing to actively seek to feel the ground pushing up, but if you really kind of take a moment and mindfully focus on that, you can just feel the ground pushing up. Deep inhale in and exhale out. Come out of this, we're going to do it a little bit differently. Usually I would roll onto my side and come up. This time I think I want to take a more active approach because I really want to end us in a mountain pose so that we can come full circle and see where we've ended as opposed to where we've started in terms of our feet connecting to the ground. Started with our feet connecting. We've gotten our whole body connected. We're going to circle back around and check in on our feet again because that's the part that we're going to really need for balance, for fencing. But all this floor work is good too for balancing the insides too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hands out from behind my head in a comfy position. I'm going to bring my right leg up, bring my left leg up, and I'm going to give my knees another little hug. Before we were rocking a little side to side, but now we're going to rock forward and backward. To do that, I'm actually going to cross my legs at the ankles. I'm going to grab the sides of my feet, and we're going to rock up to sitting. So the way that this works is you're going to kind of pull your feet and give yourself a little bit of a rocking motion. And if you can't get it all in one, that's okay. You can do it a few times. If you got it in one, take a second and just rock. You can really feel it massaging all the parts of the spine. I really love this. And let's all meet in a seated position. Excellent. So we're in our cross-legged position. We're actually going to come through all fours. We're going to come forward into all fours. And then I'm going to come up, in a down dog, and walk my feet forward to get back up again. Okay, so we're in our forward fold. And we're going to slowly roll our way up. We're going to feel all the bones of the back stacking, stacking, stacking. Like, oop, I feel my tailbone, and then the next, and then the next, and the next, and the next, and my shoulders, and then finally my head comes up. Excellent. I'm going to kind of readjust the feet a little bit. Fix my shirt. Take a moment, fix your shirt. Take a deep inhale in. And exhale your hands to the heart. Now we're back where we started. We're in a nice mountain pose. Our feet, all the parts of our feet are touching the ground. Slight bend in the knees. Tailbone draws down. Space between the shoulders and the ears. So I'm going to shut up for a second and give everybody a chance to just really take stock of where you're at now as opposed to where you were at when we started. And just check in. See, do I feel more balanced? Does anything feel different? Do I feel the same? Do I feel like I was able to let go of the day? We're just going to take, in your own time, some deep breaths and some thoughts. Start to gently just bat the eyes open. You can flutter your eyelashes. Bring your hands up to the third eye. Namaste. Thank you very much. I'm so happy that so many of you were able to join me. This has been really great. I hope that this helps you in your balance and in your grounded footwork. And definitely, you can find me in the Discord if you have any questions, or if anybody has any questions right now, I have the chat window open. You can feel free to drop something in the chat. Harold is in space. Oh yeah, I saw that, Harold. I saw you in space. That's excellent.
I'm doing Zen over here in my space.
I dig it. I like it. And I know he's not in here, but it's Joe's birthday, so find him, Joe Sorante, and find him and tell him happy birthday and send him many pushines. Everybody wish him a happy birthday and get him good and embarrassed. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. That's what I got for today. Oh, thank you, Lacey. Thank you for coming. And I'm excited to do another session with you guys next month. Next month, we're going to do posture. And we're going to try and make this a thing that we can do from time to time, is to do yoga concepts and bring them over to fencing. And then I'm going to think about all of my fencing coming over to yoga. It's a beautiful combination I really enjoy. So thanks so much, everybody. Bye-bye.